Okay, the axles are all taken care of and the road wheels are back on, and that's all set before I put the tracks on. Some other stuff I want to take care of, and one is sound. Ian's still working on the 15 watt amp, so for now I'm going to use a TPA. It's got two channels. I'll use the one pot on the transmitter for the engine sounds, and I'll use a potentiometer in the tank for the secondary sounds like machine gun and stuff. That's how I do my Yag Tiger, and I found it works pretty good. So for the speakers which have come, I made a template of how I'm going to put these in. This is going to double as a speaker box and a control panel because the large hatch in the rear is right above there. So, and I can hold it down any way I want with Velcro or glue or whatever. And I'll hook these up to the TPA, and we'll see if, they'll obviously be a lot better once the 15 watt amp is done. And I had to angle the one side to make them fit, but I think it came out pretty good. I'm going to duplicate this in wood. I've asked everybody about speakers boxes, and everybody says do them in wood. So I'm going to do that, and there'll be a dividing wall between the two here. Of course, there'll be a bottom on there, and then I'll ask you guys about if I should put holes in it, and if I should, where. And then my on-off switches are going to be over here. The on-off for the 6-cell will be right here. For the 2-cell will be right here. And right here will be the volume knob for the secondary sounds, because that'll be on the pod in the tank. So that's where we're at now. I got to go duplicate this in wood. Hey, that was quick, right? I've duplicated everything in wood. I still got to assemble the components. I've got my panel. Having second thoughts about where I want to put the potentiometer for the volume for the secondaries. The hatch, the big hatch, sits right about here, and when I open it, which you'll see in a second, it'll be really easy to get to for 6-cell and 2-cell. And the components, like this will be the bottom of the speaker box, and the sides, and there'll be a divider in between. So there'll be two separate speaker boxes, and I'm thinking maybe some like some 1/4-inch black foam. I'll just tack a square over the speakers. We'll see. I might try to do some kind of better grill. I'm not sure yet. Okay, just a quick update. We're working on the speaker box. Got the end plate clamped down. I'm just using for this kind of thing, I like white Gorilla Glue. I try to look for the one that says it's 2 times as fast. It doesn't say 2 times as fast as what, but this you can clamp it, and 30 minutes later you're pretty much good to keep working. So the speakers are in, the wires are soldered on, the on-off switches are in, the one volume potentiometer is in, so we keep marching on. Okay, the speaker box is progressing, and I'm about to reveal to you guys one of the real secrets in life. People rarely talk about this, but one of the real secrets to having a successful life is that you can never have too many fancy little clamps, okay? The more fancy little clamps you have, the better your life will be. Okay, here's the completed speaker box and control panel, and it's not plugged in right now or fastened down, but you can see that I've put in the volume pot for the secondaries, on-off for the 6-cell, and on-off for the 2-cell. I'll put some foam over the speakers to protect them. The bottom of the box is not permanently attached yet. Let me show you. Like I said, nothing's plugged in right now. The wires are just hanging down, so you try to be careful not to catch anything. Right now it's just taped on, and I did that so that in case anything, in case anything changes, I need to open it. I won't glue this in until the very end, but you can see that each speaker has its own separate box, and this is kind of added to the list of stuff that won't get done till the very end, like the battery box. The box for the 6-cell, I'm going to line that with aluminum, but I want to make sure that this box is going to work first. Actually, I'm going to encase it in aluminum, but before I spend the money on the aluminum, I want to make sure there aren't going to be any major modifications or changes, because I still got to put in the paintball cannon. I got to do all the lighting system. I got to put in a smoke unit. I'm trying to leave space right here for a smoker. But I think this will be a very effective unit. We're going to hold it down with Velcro on each side, and the rear hatch comes right here so I can get in to control everything. So that's where we're at with the speakers. I'm going to wire everything up. I'm going to put the Velcro, get it fastened in, get everything wired in and fastened in, and get the tracks on it and get some tests. Okay, we are almost ready for the next road test. Everything is now attached and wired in place. There's a couple things that, you know, are waiting till the end, like the battery box and to permanently attach the bottom of the speaker box. But the IBU is in place. It's held onto those nylon standoffs right there. The battery for it sits right here, and I have yet to add the Velcro, but it's just going to be held down with Velcro. Just like the Sabertooth, which is attached at the side. We have the volume control at the rear there is for the secondary sounds like cannon fire and machine gun. That's the main power switch, the rectangular one, and then the smaller switch is the power for the IBU2. Right now the only thing that's attached are the low voltage alarms, or turned on I should say. All the batteries are hooked up and we're ready to power it up. I'm going to set this so that you can see the sprockets, because they're going to turn when we get to that point. Okay, so we'll start with the radio. Again, I'm using the FlySky i10 with the 10-channel receiver. We'll power first the 6-cell, then the IBU2. Okay, now for the secondary sounds, machine gun, that's on this pot. They'll get very loud. Let's start with 0. Okay, that's full volume with the TPA. I think the amp that Ian is working on is going to be something else. Oh wait, let's try it. I want you to hear this at full volume, cannon sound. Those speakers are just great. I'm not sure what that little clicking sound we're getting right there is. Could be, I don't know, sometimes it's just because the radio's too close. I'll have to ask Ian about that. Alright, the main engine sounds are controlled from this pot on the transmitter, so we'll go ahead and start her up. And this will get quite loud as well. I really like these 4-inch speakers. Again, they are 4 ohm, 20 watt, they're rated for 20 watt with 30 watt max. The RVC works just perfect. I don't think those are the proper engine sounds for the Hetzer. I've got to get with Ian and figure out which ones they are, and then take the micro SD card out of the SBU and change them over. Everything right now is held in by Velcro. This one is still loose because I'm going to have to move the Velcro pads. This battery's still got to have its Velcro. The speaker box is held in with Velcro, but it's not going anywhere. So now I'll get tracks on it, and we'll get it outside and see what she has to say for herself. Before I put the tracks on, I'll put the lid on and let you get a look at the control panel through there. Okay, here she is with the upper attached, set in place. The hatches have still to be attached, they're just kind of taped on right now. But on this one, the large one. Once I put the hinges on and everything, it'll have handles. Pull this open, and you can get at the switches within. Okay, there you can see the two main power switches. There's the volume pot. Still got to get some foam over the speakers. I wanted to leave, you know, a bit of space between the two for the speakers. I didn't want it to be too close to the top. I also have to open this grill. That's going to be a joy. When I open all of this, that'll really let a lot of sound come out of there. And of course, the two hatches at the top will be opened up. This will be opened up with hatches on. Same over here. And then if I, you know, want to run with open hatches, that'll let more sound out. The remote MZ42 will be mounted right here. So still lots to do, but I'm getting pretty close to the point where I can start working on the upper. I still got to figure out lights and smoke and paintball. I think for smoke, I'm just going to make one of my super smokers. I think that'll do the job, but I think I'm going to wait until I get my exhaust a little further on so that I can see what I've got and what I've got to work with and what kind of capacities I'm going to need. So next will be tracks, and we'll get her outside and run her a little bit. Till then.